Hello everyone, welcome to the Packet Tracer Activity 26.2.3 from CCNP ENCOR course from Cisco. This activity is also about dealing with access control list, and in this activity we are going to mitigate attacks. Okay, so what we need in this, so here as you can see, first we have the addressing table, and here we have the objectives. What are the objectives of this activity? First, we are going to verify connectivity between devices before applying access control list configuration. Then we are going to configure, of course, access control list, and then we are going to configure access control list on routers, and then we go again to verify connectivity to ensure that the access control list is working perfectly. What is the topology here? What we need? We have here a PC. This PC is a management PC, and this PC can access the routers by using SSH to configure them. Only this PC is required to access the configuration or to configure routers. Others, for example, PCA here is like a server. This server offers or applies some services like domain name system, FTP, HTTP, and HTTPS, as you will see. And here we have internet connection. Okay, so in the background here, access to routers R1, R2, R3 are only permitted to be or needed to be accessed from PCC with the management, which is the management station. Okay, PCC used for connectivity testing to PCA, which is the server that provides DNS, SimpleMed, SMTP or Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, FTP, HTTPS or services. You will apply access control list on edge routers on R1 and R3. These are the edge routers. And then in this activity, you will create access control list on these routers, your goal to and then you will verify the functionality. Here we have some username or credentials. So for enable password, we have this one. For a password for the console, this one. For SSH, we have the username and password. Here we have IP addressing, here is given, and we have also static routing. Okay, so in part 1 we are going to verify basic network connectivity. From here, as you can see from the command prompt from PCA, we need to ping PCC. Let's try, and this ping should work. Here we need to make it a little bit faster. Now everything is green, so everything is fine now. So here we are going to type ping, and then this one, and let's see here. Okay, it is working. And then we are going to check for from the command prompt establish SSH session to R2, which is the loopback interface here. The loopback interface on R2 is configured with this IP address. So we are going to establish SSH session. As you can see, the SSH -L, the username, and then the IP address of the device. We can also do this. Since there is a password here, so there is a connectivity or there is a connection. So here I just will not need to access. Okay, now we are going to do the same, but now in this case we are check the connectivity from PCC to PCA. Let's do this also here. We have ping to PCC with the IP address this one, or this PCA with the IP address of PCA. And then check connectivity to also R2 with gigabit and G00 interface, so we will need this one. We will go here and SSH -L and the username SSH admin, and then the IP address. Here we also have a connection since there is a password. Okay. Open a web browser to the PCA server to display the web page. Okay. Let's click this one. Then let's open browser from here, and then paste and then go. Here we have also as the website or HTTP. Okay, in part 2 we are going to secure access to routers. Configure access control list 10 to block all remote access to the routers to the router VTY lines except from PCC. Okay, so here we are going to create access control list on all the routers. Let's start with router 3, and here we need the password. First we need the console password, and then enable, and then we need Cisco enable password 55. Here configure terminal, and here we need to create an access list, and here we type access list, the number of access lists as it's given here, as you can see, 10, and then we need to permit, and then of course we need only one host, which is PCC, with the IP address, this one here, 192.168.3.3. Okay, so now it's fine, and now of course we need to apply this on the interface. So let's go to this stage here, and let's see this interface here. As you can see, so interface gigabit Ethernet 0001, and then we need to apply it for access class 10. Okay, here I have made a mistake. So since it's written here that we need to create this access list to a VTY line, so in this case we need to line VTY 015, as you can see here, and then we need to type the access class, and then 10, and then in. Okay, so this is an important point here, since it's mentioned here in step 1 that we have to configure access control list to block all remote access to the router VTY line, so we need to apply this access list on the VTY line itself. Okay, it's nice to mention here this step because it's necessary. Alright, so I will take this one again here, and I will apply it on another router. Again, we need here Cisco console password 55. Cisco console password 55. Enable Cisco enable password 55. Here we have configure terminal, and then we put the access list here, access list 10, permit only this one, and line VTY 015, and access class 10 in. Okay, so we have done with this one also, and we come here, and again Cisco console password 55, Cisco console password 55, enable Cisco enable password 55, configure terminal, and then we apply access list, and then line VTY 015, and then access class, and then 10, and then in. Okay, we also have done with this. We applied this access control list, and then we also established, we applied it on the VT1 line. Now we are going to check it. So only the establishment or the session established from SSH should be valid from PCC. From here, we will, as you remember in the beginning, it was connection. The connection was successfully done. Now we should not done, as you can see here. And just repeat this one here. As you can see here, is connection refused by remote host, whereas here it should work. As you can see, the word is working here. However, I don't need to waste time here. Okay, so in part 3, we are going to create a numbered IP access control list 120 on R1. What does this access control list do? It should permit any outside host to access DNS, SMTP, and FTP services on server PCA, deny any outside host access to HTTP services on PCA, and permit PCC to access R1 via SSH. Okay, so in step 1 we are verify that PCC can access PCA via HTTPS using browser. Okay, so let's do this here again. We already did this. We need IP address of PCA. As you can see here, we have connection with it. It's okay. Now we are going to configure an access control list 120 to specify, permit, and deny specific or the specified traffic. Okay, so let's do this here on R1. Now what we need an access list. First, the number of this access list is 120 to permit first domain name system. To permit the domain name system from where? From, as it's mentioned here, permit any outside host to access. So any outside hosts. Okay, so that's why we are going to type any. But before any, we need to specify which protocol. So since it is domain name system, so it's UDP, and then any, of course, to which host? To the host or PCA, which is 190. .1, .3, 192, 168, 13, not 33. Okay, now we need to specify the protocol. Since it is domain name system, so we can type the port number, or we can type, for example, equation, or then we type domain, like domain name system. Okay, this is the first one. The second one, we need to SMTP. Okay, so we are going to repeat the same access list, which is 120. Now we have SMTP, or Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So this is TCP, as you know, and here we have to specify SMTP. Okay, now again we need to do the same with FTP, which is the third one here. Alright, so here FTP. Since it's FTP, so it's still TCP, so I'm not going to change anything here. What else? We need to deny any outside host access to HTTPS services on PCA. Okay, so again, we need the same access control list, which is 120, but now we don't need to permit, we need to deny. Okay, what we need to deny? TCP to any host, from any host to host 192.168.1.3. Of course, we have HTTPS, which is 443, or you can type HTTPS. Okay, then finally we need to permit PCC to access router 1 via SSH. Okay, so what is router 1 here? This one, router 1, and this port here, as you can see, this is SS00. This is serial, so it's going to be this one, and then we need to use this IP address here. Okay, so let's do this. What we need here, we need also the same access list, 120, and then we need to permit. Of course, it is TCP. Which host? We need to permit this host C, PCC, which is 192.168.3.3. Of course, to which host? To the host R1 with IP address 10.1.1.1, and of course we need to specify the protocol, which is 22 for SSH. Okay, so this is here we have done with this. Now we need to verify the BCC can access. Okay, we have done with this. We done with this also. We have done with this also. What we need then, verify the PCC. So use IP access group command to apply the access list and incoming traffic on or interface S000. Okay, so let's do this. Interface S000, and then we need IP access class or access group 120N. Okay, so we have also done with this. Now let's verify that PCC cannot access PCA via HTTPS using the web browser. As you remember, we just checked this one and it was working. Now it's not going to work because we denied this one. As you can see, it's not working here. Okay. In part 4, we are going to modify an existing access control list on R1. Now we need to permit ICMP ACO replies and destination unreachable messages from the outside network relative to R1, and then we are going to deny all other incoming ICMP. Okay, so now we are going to modify this access control list 120. Okay, so let's do this. We are here on R1. We need to exit this one, and then we need to we are going to modify this access control list. First, we are going, as is given here, that's ACO reply step. Verify that PCA cannot successfully ping the loopback interface on R2. Okay, let's verify this. PCA cannot access a loopback interface on R2. Let's see the loopback interface on R2, this one here. We need ping. Okay, as you can see, we cannot ping the loopback interface on R2. Now we are going to permit this process. Alright, so let's close this and then return back to R1, and then we'll do the same on the same access list, which is 120. We are going now to permit the ICMP from any host to any reply, of course, ACO reply. Okay, so this access list is going to permit any ICMP from any host to any destination. Of course, what type of messages is going to be ACLs reply. Then we need to also permit destination unreachable. So here we are going to repeat the same process, but we are going to type here unreachable. Okay, and then we are going, of course, to modify this access control list 120 to deny any from any host to any destination again, and then here we forget ICMP, and then we are going to, of course, permit any all other traffic. So here we need to permit IP from any host to any destination. Okay, so what we have done here, as you can see, we like permitted ICMP ACLs replies and destination here. As you can see here in this one here, we permitted ICMP from any host to any destination with type ACLs reply, and then we permitted ICMP from any host any destination with unreachable messages, and then we deny any IP ICMP and other messages, and then we permitted IP any because by default is going to deny all other traffics. Now when we are going to do the ping, it should work. As you can see now, it's working correctly. Okay, so to recap again, what we have done with part 4, permit ICMP ACLs replies and destination on destination unreachable, of course. So we have this one here and this one here, we permitted them. From the outside network, relative deny all other incoming ICMP packets. This one is here. And of course, we need to permit all other IP packets because otherwise it's by default is going to be denied. Okay. Alright, in part 5 we are going to create a numbered IP access control list 110 on R3. Okay, so let's go back to R3 here. Again, Cisco phone password 55, enable Cisco enable password 55, configure terminal. Now what we need to do, let's see, deny all outbound packets with the source address outside the range of the internal IP address on R3. On step 1, we are going to use the access list command to create a numbered access list. Okay, so we can do this. We can type access list, and then the number of access lists is now 110. And what we need to do, we only need to permit only traffic from the inside network. So here, since it's permits, so we need to permit. This is the rule here. What we are going to permit all traffic. So there is no specific protocol. So since there is a traffic, so we are going to type IP here, and then from the inside network. So let's see here what is the inside network here. As you can see, this is the network here. So the network is going to be 192.168.30, and of course, since this is the network address, so we need to specify the wildcard. And the wildcard, well, you know how we can calculate it. If not, please, I recommend you to see one of the previous videos. Alright, so let's now give the IP address of the network 192.168.30, and then we need the wildcard, which is 000.255, and then we need to type any, which means any traffic. Alright, and then we need to apply this access control list on a specific interface. So here we are going to permit only traffics, or the traffic that can go to here. Which one we are going to apply? We are going to apply it here because we are mentioning that only from inside this network that we need to permit the traffic. So that's why we need to apply it in this port here, which is gigabit Ethernet 01. Alright, so interface gigabit Ethernet 01, and then IP access group, as you know, and then 110, and then N. Okay, so this all with par 5. Let's see what we need to do more. Okay, that's all. So let's move forward to par 6. In par 6, we need to create a numbered IP access control list 100 on R3. Okay, so we are here still. On R3, block all packets containing the source IP address from the following pool of addresses. Any request for 1918 private addresses from this network as well, and any IP multicast address because PCC is being used for remote administration. Permit SSH traffic from the 100 from this IP address network and return to return to the host PC. Okay, you should also block traffic sourced from your own internal address space if it is not a request for command addresses. Okay, in this activity, your internal address space is part of the private addresses space specified in request for command 1918. Okay, use the access list command to create a numbered IP access control list 100. Okay, let's do this now. We have access list, and then the number of access list is 100, and first we need to permit, and then what TCP from this network with wildcard 255, 255, 255, and of course this is the SSH to host 192, 168.3.3. Alright, let's check it again. Access list, and then 100, and then we need permit, and then we need here one more 0, and then this is the wildcard, and then this should be fine now. Okay, that's cool. Then we also need to deny all other traffics from this one here. From private network. So let's do this also. Again, access list. Let's make it this one like this. Now we have also deny, and then IP from this network with wildcard this one from any network. Then also we need to deny all traffic from this one as well. So this one was about a private, as you know. So now we need to also deny traffic from this network. So we are going to repeat the same, but here 172.16.0.0, and then here we have the address card, which is going to be, as you can see here, it's 8. So here we need also to put the 1 here equals to 0. It's going to be 15. Then any. Alright. We are also going to deny all traffic from 192, 168.0.0 with wildcard, of course, here is 0. As you know, this is the private IP addresses. And then we need to also deny 172.0.0.0 with wildcard 255 from any. Then we need to deny also all traffic from multicast, which is 224.0.0.0 and then 15.255, 255, 255 any, and then access list 100. We are going to permit all other traffic. And then we need to apply this to the specific interface. So as you can see here, now we are going to apply the traffic on this interface because it's about like everything from this network cannot be allowed to go out if it's from private IP address or if it's from multicast IP address or from specific internal IP address. Okay, so interface 000, sorry 1, let's check it, it's 1, and then IP physical group 100. Yeah. Okay, now we can check because it's 59. Let's check results. 100. There is an incorrect. Let's check again. We have to do it one more time. Okay, so let's check the access list. So exit from here and then do show access list. Okay, so let's check this. Alright, so it seems everything fine. Let's see what we can do more. Here we need to confirm that the specified traffic interface serial 01 is handled correctly from PCC command from it ping PCA server. The ICMP ACLs are blocked by the access control list because they are sourced from the 192.168.0.0. Okay, let's do this. It should not work. Okay, this is because of the access control list as it is explained here. Then we also need to establish SSH session to this IP address from PCC, and this one should fail. Okay, SSH -L and then SSH or SSH admin. to this IP address. It should also not work, it should fail. Okay, so let's check this one. It should work to this IP address. As you can see, it's working here. Okay, your completion percentage should be 100. Click check result to see feedback and verification on which required component have been completed. Okay, check results here. I don't know why this one is not correct. However, I don't know what is the problem. I cannot catch it. Please, if you not spot the problem, write it in the comments so I will fix it. Thank you very much. That's all for this activity. I'll see you in the next activity.